theme, of course, is that intimate relationship and how you can use this beautiful relationship to draw so much from it, because, of course, you're filling the bond, the well. You've got to fill the well first, the bond, make it flourish before, of course, you can draw from it, and how important that is to your productivity, your sense of well-being, your mental health. And if you allow that particular relationship to diminish because you're building out a dream, you really have to think about that. You've got to pull yourself back. There's very, very egoic kind of thinking. You've got to retrain yourself to see how you can do both of these things, and that your intimate partner, the one that you love, the one that is such, can be, if you do this well, can be such a foundational support and offer so much potential and unlimitedness, not because of their support in practical ways, even though that's really helpful, but also just because of the unseen, what we're not really seeing. When we're unhappy, we're lacking meaning inside of ourselves. We can't see meaning like we want to see it. We want to see it in a pair of Dolce & Gabbana glasses, or we want to see it in, let's see, Evian water, or, where else can we see it? I mean, I could, in a Samsung phone. We find meaning in everything, right? It's what we're looking for out in the world, but we can't actually, the actual resonance of meaning, pure meaning, is extraordinary, and that's really in the unseen a lot of the time for the most of us, rather than us bringing it into form, giving it form. How do we do that? How do we bring this meaning, meaningfulness, this meaning into our world with our intimate partners? When we're feeling like we're lacking love, or we're lacking attention, we're lacking the things that we need, we always have to start here. Sorry, you can't see down there. Here. We have to start here. We can't look for meaning out there, hoping that it is going to somehow miraculously fulfill us within. It doesn't work like that. So the reason that I'm spending these 4 weeks, and I've themed the first 4 weeks around that key relationship in our lives, is because I know the strength that it holds, the power that it yields to get you at the top of your game. You're a woman. You're not a man. Now, unless you want to have more masculine energy and you want to turn into being masculine, it's very different to feminine. And the feminine energy is where everything that you need to build an amazing brand of the future. In my power branding course, all I talk about is the necessity of empathy, which is a very feminine quality to build a power brand. How are you going to do that if you're leaning into masculine energy all the time? And why would you want to do that? Why do you need to do that? You don't need to do that. In fact, even for those girls that are together, they can both have a mixture of these qualities, but we have to learn how to be in our femininity. We have to know how to be there, and then we can move across to masculine sometimes, and then back to feminine, and back and forth and back and forth. But we don't want to go into our masculine because we don't know how to be in our feminine, if that makes sense. So your feminine quality is just amazing. I mean, you can even be in your masculine energy and still have incredible empathy and dignity and beauty that you offer others. But we don't have to go there, because we already are. We are the power of the universe. We are incredible. Your feminine nature is extraordinary when you're living it in a way that's real and true. So if you're with your partner, let me tell you what I did, what I had the joy of doing this year, and I found it so incredible, was that I had the opportunity to really look at my relationship with Toby and do a couple of things. One of the things that I had to start doing, because when I get under extreme pressure, I often, in the past, way long time ago, I would default immediately into my conditioning. In other words, the way that my mother lived, my grandmother, how I was sort of created, what I drew on from my environment, the decisions that I kind of made. And I came up with this identity that I really didn't like very much, but I would default into it. Then, of course, I'd be critical of myself and so on and so on and so on. So, recently, I'm always inspired by ways that I can share with you things that came back to me of what I was doing, what I did to really pull myself out of that all those years ago. And so one of the things that I want to share with you, one of the takeaways is that I started to realize, it was almost like a realization, an awakening of sorts, where I could see that every time I had a thought about Toby, for example, I'm going to use Toby because it's really, really important. And I'm very open to being vulnerable with you if it's going to help you. That I would use Toby or even my ex-husband, if I had a thought that was somehow, a thought that even leaned a little bit into, well, if he was different, or if he just did that, or why does he always do this? And, my obsessing, actually, literally, training my brow, gosh, that's my day job coming in, my brain to literally obsess out there. Because when my brain's obsessing out there, then I'm not taking responsibility. I'm actually just allowing leak. It's a leak. It's like having a bucket and pouring water into it, and it's got a hole in it. And at the end of the day, you just drained. Same thing. So obsessively thinking about that, my husband, either ex or current, if they were different, and looking at the things that they did or they said, and just having this like internal insane conversation. And I started to realize that every one of those thoughts, I had to start somewhere, and I had to begin with one thought at a time. So a thought would come up, if Toby, I can't believe he did that. And then I started to realize, hang on a minute, that's a self-abusive thought. Because that thought, I'm actually abusing myself by taking myself down a path of powerlessness, hopelessness, obsessive thinking, my egoic path. I'm actually reinforcing the identity I didn't even like that I'd created along the way or picked up from my mum or from my grandmother, who cares, somewhere. I was kept on, those thoughts were reinforcing that identity, and I thought that's really self-abusive. Toby doesn't know I'm thinking that. Got no idea, it's not affecting him or my ex-husband. But here I am abusing myself by going down a path, an identity that is filled with lack, that everything I need is outside of myself. What a disaster. What an untruth. So this false belief that I was having as it came up as a thought, and I would just very delicately say, just a recognition, just a self-awareness that is self-abusive. Oh. And then I would replace it with, I choose peace instead of this. Or anything that I felt that was true for me. I'm a really good person. Or in the olden days, that was a big one for me. I'm a really good person. Or it could be whatever you want. Write some of the ones that you think you could be below in the comments. I'd love to hear them. But that I started to begin to retrain my mind. And then I realized that the minute that I was letting go, releasing these thoughts, I had more room. And my heart would soften and I'd feel peaceful. And I was more productive and I felt like I was more inspired. But the minute that I would cave back in again and go down this egoic identity of lack that I'd created, I would just shut down again. And just looking outside of myself to find the answers to where there's no power out there. It's all in here. I'm the one choosing. It's the power shift. This is the book that I wrote. This is why I wrote it, to give you back your power. So I had to really learn principle one. I had to retrain my mind. Do I fall back into that default sometimes? Of course I do. Sadly, I do, but I'm much faster at getting myself out of it. I can't be fooled by it anymore. I can't really believe it. and go, you know what, actually, hang on, this is actually, yeah, this is happening. It is his fault. So in doing that, just in the unseen, things began to move. Things began to shift. My relationships would change. The people in them would come closer, would move closer, would automatically and really quite strangely, spontaneously appear more loving, kinder, more caring. I felt like what I was actually looking for was right there for me to change, for it to happen. It was astonishing. Sometimes we've built so many walls between us and our intimate partner that it feels like there's no way that we could do this. But you can do it. And you have to then start with, I can do this. Because it doesn't matter whether you leave this person, you go to the next, unless you're being really severely, physically abused or anything like that, emotionally abused, then go and get some external help. Definitely. But, with all these daily little grievances and the way that we think that love actually is, I'll just check the time. I want you to realize that you have the power to turn this around and to have a powerful, beautiful well, a full well every single day that both you and your beautiful intimate partner can draw from. And then your children can come and have a little sip. And they can go off and be in their lives, and you get to demonstrate to them what real love actually is. So they get a chance to go out there and explore it when they're older for themselves, to choose better than possibly your mother did, or your great-grandmother, or your grandmother, and to at least know what to do and how to be in a relationship with another human being. That is the first learning we should have in schools. Why do we not learn in schools about how to be with our partners, when the reality of it is that a whole family structure is based on this one bond, this one well? Is it empty or full? Ask yourself that question. When you go to work and you're dragging yourself out of bed and you're believing fairy stories that one day you're going to get the perfect man, ask yourself the question, is it just am I just confused? Have I just misunderstood something? Have I just not been trained? Am I actually just sleeping and believing this like Sleeping Beauty until she woke up because her higher self, that's called Prince Charming, her higher self came and gave her a little sweet kiss on the cheek. Of course, this is following our last inbox, our last vlog, Inbox Mag, that I call it an inbox mag every now and again because that's what it is. It falls into your inbox. So if you hear me say that, that's what that is. But really, it's our podcast, it's our vlog, and it's a space where we get to talk about these ideas, and I can give you as much as I can here, and then I ask you go buy the Power Shift, go read it, and start to implement. What is within the pages of that book. Try it. What have you got to lose? You've got this one life to live. And if you really want to be at the top of your game, if you really want to make this about your evolution so that you can demonstrate to your children, to your loved ones, to your friends, your family, your clients, other women in the world, what it can truly be like, just like what I'm doing. You'll do that just through demonstration. You won't have to talk to them the way that I'm talking to you. It's just through demonstration. And what was it? Gandhi, be the change in the world that you want to see. Was that him? Anyway, I often get, people who say quotes wrong. So if it's wrong, my apologies, but I think it was him. This is what I'm talking about. Be the change. Be. See? Be. Not do. He didn't say do the change in the world. Be the change in the world that you want to see. And the first relationship, the most key essential relationship is that with your intimate partner, the man that you or woman or whatever it is that you fall asleep with beside you every single night, that you wake up with every single day, that you're making decisions. No one said it's easy. It's the most challenging, most difficult of all things, because we are trained to be right, that someone's got to win and then someone's got to lose. That is the way the ego loves you to think, loves to draw you into that and pull that in and say, oh, you're not being treated fairly. Oh, how could he have done that? Oh, he's going to hurt you. He'll betray you. He's done this. Oh, he didn't take out the bins. Well, didn't take out the bins. Take them out. Have a decent conversation minus emotion and say, feeling like I need a little bit of help. can we sit down and have a little chat about that? I know you're really busy. Is there any way? Could we get some external help? You know, there's a real way to be with the people in our lives. And you're not realizing possibly right now that what you're having in front of you, what you have right now in your relationship, the bond, that well, the way that it is the way you've made it. And because you made it, you have the power to take down all of the bricks and rebuild it. And isn't that so wonderful, so empowering, so magnificent that you get to do that? And I want to help you. So you can comment below. You also could go on to Beauty and Business, our secret group, and if you're not in there, ask to be put in there. Look for us, and of course you can go in there and you can ask questions about these vlogs and podcasts, and let's go in and start playing around with some of these ideas, and love to hear from you. Take care. Thanks for listening. And we're up to week 3. We've got week 3, and we're going to be talking about something really, really cool in week 3. And I'm going to share with you what I did. I was going to do it in this one, but I think we've spent long enough on this one. I'm going to throw it into the next one when I meet with you again, and I'm going to talk about what I actually did. The second thing that I did that was really, really helpful, because today we spoke about that strategy, that takeaway of really, you know, speaking inwardly to yourself and recognizing, bringing that self-awareness to the thoughts, and is it a self-abusive thought, and replacing it with something that's really filled with goodness and with love. So I'm going to throw the next one, the next strategy, the next takeaway into the next vlog. Take care, everyone. Thanks for being with me.